One question we get not infrequently from clients or potential clients is, I'm going to add another line of business. I'm going to start doing something else. I already have a business in an LLC. Should I form a second LLC or just file a DBA? Hey there, this is attorney Sarah Holmes of Holmes Business Law P.C. We are a business and trademark law firm that also offers general counsel subscription services to clients. Should I form a second LLC or just file a DBA? Those are two very different legal situations that have very different legal impacts. And so this is the way to think about it. First would be if the new thing you want to do is related to your original business, meaning let's say I own a gourmet food shop, right? And right now my business is retail and I sell products of other manufacturers. Let's say that my idea is I'm going to branch out into my own products and maybe sell stuff that I'm making or I have private labeled under my own brand. In that case, it's very related to my original business and what I'm doing. So I could just go and file a DBA for my new line of products. The downside to that is you want to think through long-term. What's your long-term goal with the new thing you're doing? So in that instance, if my long-term goal with these products is one day, I would like to sell my product line to Kraft Foods, or I would like to sell it to Target. I want them to buy out my line from me. The problem with it being within your original business is now Kraft or Target, they might not be able to just buy that line of foods, right? They might have to buy your whole business, your whole retail business, which might not be something you want to sell. It also might make a future sale of your product business complicated because all your books, all your records are going to show all the income and all the expenses for both lines of business in one set of books. So for a potential buyer, it may be complicated for you to show, hey, this product line is very profitable, this is what we make from it, because your books are all combining both things. So if that's your end goal, then starting a second LLC would actually be the better answer, because now you have two separate businesses, but in the future, if you want to sell off the product line, you don't have to worry about it. You have it in a separate entity, you have separate books, you have separate records, and all of that can simply go to a new owner if they wanted to buy it. Now, let's do the instance where you're setting up a totally different type business, right? Let's say that I own the retail store, I sell gourmet foods, but now my idea is I'm going to start a dog walking business on the side, right? Well, dog walking has nothing to do with my gourmet food store. So it's also carrying a very different type of liability risk. In my food store, my main risk is maybe selling things that are bad to people or someone coming in and tripping and falling, cracking their head open, right? If I have a dog walking business, the type of risk from the liability I'm facing is totally different. Let's say I'm out on a walk and the dog I'm walking gets attacked by another dog, right? Or I'm going into people's homes and let's say there's a situation where something happens in the house while I'm there. That's a potential legal liability. The types of liability I'm facing have nothing to do and are totally different than the type of liability that I face in my first business. In that instance, you really do need to set up a separate LLC for that business because your insurance companies are really going to have a problem that you are mixing and matching the type of services and things you're doing within the one business. They're not going to know what type of risk they have to insure, and you might find it very difficult to find insurance coverage. You might get a lot of pushback. And again, you're also combining all the financials of it. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. Plus, you're also risking one business over the other. So let's say in that scenario, something happens in the dog business, right? You're walking a dog that gets attacked and you get sued, right, by your client. Now, potentially, if you have kept that under your retail business is also at risk. So if there's a judgment against your business, your whole retail business can go down with the dog walking business. And at the end of the day, you might have no business left, right? So if you separate them out, you are separating that liability and keeping each liability siloed within that one business. It's also going to make it much, much easier for you to get insurance on each business. It would, again, like the first scenario, make it much easier for you to sell off one of the businesses over the other, and everything would be kept nice, neat, and clean with separate books, separate records. Now, if you do that, if you actually do go and set up a second LLC for something else that you want to do, you need to respect that second form, meaning like how I just described, you need to have a separate bank account for it. You need a separate insurance policy. You should have separate contracts. Everything should be separate. You should not ever be mixing, matching the businesses together, meaning if you get paid in your dog walking business, you should not deposit that money in your gourmet food store business, right? That has to go through each bank account in order to keep the liability separate. The minute you start mixing and matching, you now are risking all of those businesses together within the same pool if there's ever a liability issue. So of course, if you have questions, you want to set up a second business, you don't know how to do it or whether you need an LLC or a DBA, feel free to reach out to our office. Our number is 215-482-0285. Thanks.